Hi everyone, welcome to the demonstration session. What we are trying to do is trying to analyze a source code with Sonar, which is one of the tools which we find under Sonar, and that is a plugin which we can install into Eclipse and IDEs or integrated development environments like IntelliJ as well. Right. You should be given several source codes. If you look at the projects that you are given, you should be having at least 4 source codes. I will be trying out at least 1 or 2 to give you an understanding on how to do this analysis. At the same time, you need to have Java installed in your machine. You can just open the command prompt and then just type Java -version. In my case, that is 1.8.0. The preferred version for this practical is Oracle JDK 8. Right. You also can try out installing Java and also configuring integrated development environment like Eclipse in your machine. I'll be sharing certain links for you as well to get support. Right. So to import a project to this Eclipse environment, just click on File and then go to Import. And then you have something which is General, and under General you have existing projects into Workplace, and click on that and browse the project. What I am trying to import is this vulnerable codes project. Click on vulnerable codes and select the folder, and then you can finish it and get it imported to your workspace. Right. There can be cases where you find errors in project importing or after importing. You can just check whether the correct JRE library is being configured or not. Right. For that, in any case where you have several errors or errors in this Java classes, what you can do, just right click on the project and go to the option which is Run As, and then go to Run Configurations. And then you can find which is a Java application. Under that you can give a preferred name. In my case I have given a name like Full Local Port Scanner, and the project should be there which you have selected. And there are several tabs. If you go through them, go to the JRE tab and it should be JDK 1.8. If it is not the case, what you can do is just click on Install JREs, and still if it is not under this list, you can just go to Add and select on Standard VM and go to Next and go to your location which you have installed Java. In my case that is in C drive, Program Files, Java, and I'll be selecting JDK 1.8, and then I just have to select the folder. Right. So in my case, JRE name is already set, so I don't have to worry about configuring it again. But if you have to do it, follow the steps that I have given. Right. Okay. Once you have completed, you just have to tick the particular JDK which is 1.8 and then just click on Apply and then close it. Right. So here in my case, I have already selected the relevant Java version which is JDK 1.8. Then I can try out running the code to check whether the code works properly. Here in my case, you can see the code seems to be running without any issues. Right. So our focus is not about the logic of the code. Our focus is to understand the concept and also to get familiarized with the Sonar tool. Right. Anyway, it's better understanding the logic behind what we have tried out in this Full Local Port Scan. It's a very simple Java code where we have tried out Java socket and trying to open socket connection to a given IP address, and then if the connection seems to be success, it will be giving a message. If not the case, it will catch an exception, it will give an error message as well. Right. So that's the entire logic. You can understand it. Our focus is to understand how to scan this with Sonar Lint. I told you that Sonar Lint is a plugin. In your integrated development environment, Sonar Lint might not be configured, so you just have to go to Help and then go to Eclipse Marketplace. The Marketplace is the place where you can find several plugins which you can install into Eclipse. The instructions are given in your lab sheet. You should be having a document called Practical Guide Static Code Analysis. Here you are given these steps to follow. You just have to go to Help and then go to Eclipse Marketplace and then search the keyword Sonar Lint. Right, then we'll go back to the Marketplace. You just have to type Sonar Lint and then press enter and try to search it. Here in my case, it seems to be installed, but in your case, you might find a button to install. Just click on the button and get it installed. Once you are done with installation, you're ready to go. Right, so then what you have to do is just right click on the project and go to Sonar Lint option. Afterwards, you might find 3 functionalities given: analyze chain files, and then analyze bind to Sonar Cube project. We can talk about binding to Sonar Cube later. For the moment, what we try to use it just to analyze. Just click on analyze and see. You'll be asking to confirm it. Just click on OK to confirm. It will open a tab, Sonar Lint report, and go to that. You will find plenty of issues. In my case, Sonar Lint has identified 17 issues in the source code. Right, there's an order that they have given and they have tagged it with different colors. We have things in green, things in red, things in blue as well. So colors are having certain indication of the priority that we need to give or the severity of the issue. Right, anyway, we'll try out to understand the very first one that has given. If you read the description given, description says make this IP, which is 127.0.0.1, address configurable. For some reason, the developer has done a mistake here. Right? In this socket connection, to connect to an IP address, the IP address has hard-coded within the source code segment. Right. Now, if you are unable to understand the problem here, what you can do is just right-click on the description and then go to rule description. It will explain everything for you. Right. One of the special things to read here is the given description. IP addresses should not be hard-coded, and they have given an ID as well, which is SQUID S13 and 13. Right. So they have classified the issues into different categories. Here, this is under vulnerabilities, and the severity that they have tagged is a minor issue. Right. So your organization can take decisions on the minority and based on the severity of the vulnerability or an issue, you can think of the priority that you need to give. Right. If you read a bit on the same, hard coding an IP address into source code is a bad idea for several reasons, is the explanation that they have given. A recompile is required if the address changes. Right. So it forces the same address to be used in every moment. So there are several items. Then what we can do is providing a solution to the given issue or the vulnerability. They have given us example as non-compliant card. If you read a bit, you can understand why that is non-compliant. Here, as per the explanation that they have given, the IP addresses has to be reused again and again, and if you have to change things, you have to change in many places. And also this is not the best practice as per the standards. What you should do is keep this kind of IP addresses away from the source code and take it into a configurable property file where you can change things without changing the source code. So one of the major problems with this kind of issue is, let's say for some reason if you are compiling the code and planning to put it into production environment, and there can be cases where you might have to change the IP addresses with the available IPs. So you just have to go again, you have to go back to the source code and changing it. It will be a hectic task for you, and it's not the way to do it. So you can keep a property file to do these configurations, and that will help you out a lot, to sort out the issue. But for the moment we can introduce another solution. The solution that I am planning to give is introducing a new variable for that. So I'll be defining a variable which is a string, and so we'll be naming it like an IP address. Yes, so what I'm trying to do is just to have a new variable over here. Right, so I have a new variable which is IP address, then I can assign the same value, which is 127.0.0.1. Right, then we will be replacing the requirement of this IP address by the new variable name. So you can see that the underlined line seems to be disappearing. So I have another location where the IP address has been reused, so I'll be replacing the same again. Right, now the issue seems to be fixed. If you look at the code more, you can find some other issues there. Right, so we can easily find out existing issues under the description. So what we have just sorted is a minor issue. We'll be trying out one of the majors as well. So we have a major issue like remove this useless assignment to a local variable, which is local port. Right, so if you try to read the rule description given, they are saying that this is under a different category, which is a code smell. So it seems to be a dead store. So we have assigned sort of a value to a variable, and we are not going to use it in future. So that's a problem, and we are not going to apply it. What we can do is we can remove the assignment, or we can remove assigning to a variable which is not going to be used. Else we have to use it in future or in a line where afterwards. Right, so they have given non-compliant codes examples and as well as compliant for us. Right, you can read both of them and try to understand it. I'll be giving a solution for that as well. So what you can do is try to find out the variable. Here we have the local IP, and we have assigned or initialized this into null, and then try to assign a local address which is converted to string, and also try to replace it with another value, and it has not been used afterwards. Right, if you carefully read the code, what we have something related to the same. We have a commented line over here, which is another vulnerability, and if you read it, the related issue to the commented line, you can see that this block of commented outlines of the source code or the code should be removed. You can't keep commented lines in your source code, especially if it was a active code earlier, right? You can keep explanations, but here it's not an explanation, it's an active code where you have commented out. So I can fix the previous issue of the IP, local IP, and also this commented line by uncommenting the same. So I'll be uncommenting the line now here, and the second line as well. Then I can reformat the code just press Control F, Control A and Control Shift F will help you out in formatting the code. Now once after formatting the code, it will identify a new issue. We have something which cannot be resolved to a variable. Right. Now the problem seems to be very simple. We have something to print out, but here we have nothing to resolve. So I can replace with the previous variable with the same. I will be replacing this IP address with the issue over here. Right, now once I save it, issue seems to be vanished. Right. Then what we can do is to go to the number of items and then try out analyzing the code again. Will help us to reduce the number of issues what we had earlier. Right. With that, we could reduce number of issues from 17 to 13, which is really good in our case. Still, you can fix the issue. There are some other errors given. You can try out fixing them, and also go to the practical sheet given and try to follow the steps as written over here. You just have to follow the given steps. Here we have given how to import a project and how to use this analyze feature, and then try to understand the given Sonar lint report, and then double click in the on the issue, and to help you to go to the relevant code segment and change the code. Especially changing the code can't be done at once. Sometimes you might have to have a little bit of understanding on Java. Just go to Oracle website and try to read a bit of Java, and then come back and then implement it. So here the standard which we have in the Sonar is again OWASP recommendations. So I have given some other additional reading materials for you. If you are interested in code reviewing, we have OWASP code review guide version 2. You can open the code review guide and read more about how to review a code and what fixes that we can introduce. That they have given different issues like injections, broken authentications, and about session management, and how to do code reviews as well. Right. It's very important for you to understand, and that will be a helpful material for you in your assignments as well. Right. So keep that with you. Again, you have a very important website which is sonarsource.com. Go to rules.sonarsource.com. This website carries a lot of recommendations given for different languages. You can choose your preferred language. We have a lot of languages that can be scanned by Sonar. If you look at what I have given here is Java. So you can think of different rules, right? They have different types of rules or issue types. One is vulnerability, what we found in the very first case, and then you can click on vulnerabilities, and there are like 7 rules found under Java. You can read them and try to understand. And then bugs, you can find some bugs under Java. You can read them and try to understand with the fixes as well. So to understand fixes, you just have to read the non-compliant code and the compliant code. So in non-compliant code, they will explain the issue and the fixes under compliant code as well. Right. Then we have security hotspot. You can read them as well and try to understand how to fix them. And then the code smells. Code smells are actually small issues that we have in, or bad practices that we have in coding. You can remove them by reading the given explanations. Right, and there are 3 ways to analyze your code. If you click on this button, which is analyze your code, they will prompt how you want to do it. Within an IDE, you can use Sonar lint. You can install it into different environments like IntelliJ, Eclipse, and if you are planning to do it in cloud, you have a cloud version of Sonar Cloud. You can have an account, and you can push your repository like GitLab or Bitbucket to that, and then scan the repository as well, right? And Sonar Cube is what you can set up locally. You have different editions. Here you have free edition, which is community edition. You can just click on the download button, and it will help you out to download it, and then you can run it. It has a bundled version. It will start up as a local version in your machine. You can plug it into your repository, Git or Bitbucket, and you can get your source code scanned, right? So you can try out both of them and try to understand how these things works, right? So let me show you one of the examples of Sonar Cube, just to understand how the report seems to be. Then we'll be trying to look at how Sonar Cube server works. So you can find tutorials in installation or how to install Sonar Cube in your machines in internet on the Sonar website. So if you have things installed, you can log into the system, make sure that you have configured your source code or repositories to Sonar properly. If you have configured them at the build time, or if you have CI/CD configured or CI/CD has done properly, in the build time you can get reports imported to a Sonar Cube server. So Sonar Cube will help you in scanning source codes, and it will find out different issues or values for different parameters. In my case, I have several projects being connected to the Sonar server. So there are few projects where they have like quality gate passed, but some of the projects seems to be quality gate failed. So there are certain indications of the quality of your project, and at the same time you can read the number of bugs being identified, number of vulnerabilities, percentage of hotspot, number of code smells. Code coverage is not that we are going to discuss here. That is related to unit test. So if you are aware of what is unit test, that is about testing your logic, and the duplicate or duplication percentage, and also the number of lines that you have in K, right? So it's about scanning the projects, and if you go to the tab which is issues, which is very similar to a bug reporting tool, you have number of issues given and the priority as well. We have major issues, we have minor issues, and something under critical as well. So if you have a team or a software development team, what you can do is you can do the scanning and then can assign these issues to relevant developers and get them fixed, and then you can do a scanning process, and afterwards you can go for releases, right? I think you are able to understand the concept behind SonarLint and Sonar Cube as well. If you have any questions or queries or difficulties that you found out in installing these things or configuring things, you can drop me an email, else you can contact me. I have given my contact details. So this is what we have to do today, and thank you very much.